To understand Suzuki, we must first understand Japan at that time. In the late 1800s, Japan was changing very fast. For many years, Japan had been closed to much of the world. But after 1868, during the Meiji Restoration, Japan decided to modernize. The country wanted to become strong like the countries in Europe and America. Factories were built, railways were built, new schools opened. Western technology started coming into Japan. Machines became more important than hand tools. Industry slowly replaced farming as the main source of money. But life was still not easy. Many people were poor. Most families worked very hard every day just to survive. Children often helped their parents with work. Education was growing, but it was still difficult for many families to afford. It was in this time of change that a boy named Michio Suzuki was born. Michio Suzuki was born in 1887 in a small coastal village called Hamamatsu in Shizuoka Prefecture, Japan. Hamamatsu was not a big city at that time. It was a simple town near the sea. The people there mostly worked in farming, fishing, and weaving cloth. Weaving was very important in that area. Many families made fabric using wooden looms inside their homes. Michio grew up in a poor but hardworking family. His father was a cotton farmer. Life was simple. There was no electricity, no cars, no motorcycles, no airplanes. But young Michio was different from many other children. He was very curious. He liked to watch how tools worked. He liked to see how machines moved. Even as a small boy, he enjoyed fixing things. If something broke, he tried to repair it. He did not only want to use tools, he wanted to understand them. When Michio was still young, he decided to become a carpenter. Carpentry was a respected job in Japan. Carpenters built houses, furniture, and tools. He became an apprentice. This means he worked under a skilled carpenter and learned step by step. The work was hard. He had to wake up early. He had to carry heavy wood. He had to learn how to measure perfectly. Japanese carpentry requires great precision. Even a small mistake can ruin the entire piece. But Michio learned quickly. He showed great skill with his hands. More importantly, he showed creativity. He did not just copy what others did. He thought about better ways to build things. This skill would later become the foundation of Suzuki Motor Company. At that time, the weaving industry in Hamamatsu was very active. But there was a big problem. Most looms were simple wooden machines. They were slow. They required a lot of manual work. If something broke, production stopped. This meant families lost money. Michio saw this problem clearly. He thought, why not build a better loom? Instead of becoming only a carpenter who made houses, he decided to build machines. This was a very important decision. In 1909, at just 22 years old, Michio Suzuki founded a small company called Suzuki Loom Works. It was a very small business at first. He built wooden weaving looms in a small workshop. But his looms were different. They were stronger. They were smoother. They were more efficient. Weavers liked his machines because they made work easier and faster. That meant more cloth and more income. His business slowly grew. Suzuki Loom Works became known for quality. Michio was not satisfied with average work. He always tried to improve his designs. He listened carefully to customers. If a weaver said, "This part is difficult," he would redesign it. This focus on improvement later became part of Suzuki's company culture. As Japan continued to modernize, the textile industry grew quickly. Japan exported silk and cotton to other countries. Suzuki's looms became more advanced. Michio added metal parts instead of only wood. He improved the automatic systems. Some of his looms could run longer without stopping. By the 1920s, Suzuki Loom Works was one of the leading loom manufacturers in Japan. The company officially became Suzuki Loom Manufacturing Company in 1920. It became a corporation, which meant it was larger and more organized. This was a big achievement for a man who started in a small workshop. But Michio Suzuki was not satisfied. He always looked toward the future. In the 1930s, something new caught Michio's attention: automobiles. Cars were still rare in Japan. Most people traveled by train, bicycle, or horse cart. Cars were expensive and mostly imported from America or Europe. Michio saw an opportunity. He believed Japan needed small, affordable cars for ordinary people. He began studying foreign cars. He even bought a small British car to examine how it worked. He carefully took it apart piece by piece to understand the engine and transmission. He told his engineers, "We can build our own Japanese car." This was a bold dream. Remember, Suzuki was still a loom company. They had no experience building engines. But Michio loved challenges. In 1937, Suzuki developed several small car prototypes. They created a compact car with a small engine. It was simple but practical. The design focused on efficiency. However, just as Suzuki was preparing to move forward, something terrible happened. World War II began. World War II started in 1939. Japan became heavily involved. During the war, the Japanese government controlled industries. Companies were ordered to produce materials for the military. Car production stopped. Suzuki returned to making looms because textile production was still necessary. Later, even that became difficult as resources became limited. Factories struggled. Many workers were sent to war. Materials like steel became rare. Japan suffered greatly during the war, especially near the end when cities were bombed. The dream of building cars had to wait. In 1945, World War II ended. Japan was devastated. Cities were destroyed. The economy collapsed. People had little food. Transportation systems were damaged. But Japan did not give up. The people worked very hard to rebuild their country. Suzuki Loom Company faced serious problems too. The cotton market collapsed. Demand for looms dropped sharply. Michio Suzuki now faced one of the hardest moments of his life. If he continued only with looms, the company might fail. He needed a new product. In the early 1950s, many Japanese people needed cheap transportation. Cars were still too expensive, but bicycles were common. Michio saw another opportunity. He decided to build a small engine that could attach to a bicycle. In 1952, Suzuki released the Power Free, a motorized bicycle. It had a small 36cc two-stroke engine. It was simple and affordable. The rider could pedal normally, use the engine, or use both together. This design was very smart. The Japanese government even gave Suzuki financial support because the design was innovative. The Power Free became popular. Suzuki had entered the motorcycle business in 1954. Suzuki changed its company name to Suzuki Motor Company, Ltd. This name change was important. It showed that Suzuki was no longer just a loom company. In 1955, Suzuki introduced the Suzulite, its first mass-produced car. The Suzulite was a small, lightweight car. It had front-wheel drive, which was advanced for its time. It also had independent suspension. These features were rare even in Europe at that time. The Suzulite was designed for narrow Japanese roads. It was small, efficient, and affordable. Suzuki had officially become an automobile manufacturer. Michio Suzuki was not just an inventor. He was a leader. He believed in hard work, continuous improvement, listening to customers, taking risks. He was calm but determined. He did not fear failure. He believed mistakes were part of learning. This mindset helped Suzuki survive difficult times. From the loom days to motorcycles and cars, Suzuki developed a strong philosophy. Build small and practical products. Make them affordable for ordinary people. Focus on reliability. Always improve technology. Suzuki did not try to compete with luxury brands. Instead, they focused on compact and efficient vehicles. This strategy later helped them succeed worldwide. Michio Suzuki retired in 1957. He had started with wooden looms. He ended with cars and motorcycles. He passed away in 1982 at the age of 94. By that time, Suzuki was already a major global company. His journey from carpenter to founder of a motor company is one of the great industrial stories of Japan. The beginning of Suzuki is not a story about fast cars or racing glory. It is a story about a curious boy, A skilled carpenter, a loom maker, a risk taker, a visionary. Suzuki did not begin with engines. It began with wood, with tools, with simple machines. From weaving cloth to building motorcycles and cars, the journey was long and difficult. But it all started with one man who believed he could build something better. And that belief changed history. By the mid-1950s, Suzuki was no longer a loom company. It had changed its name to Suzuki Motor Company Limited. The company now focused on motorcycles and small cars. The first car, the Suzu Light, was small and simple, but it was important. It showed that Suzuki could build real automobiles. Japan at that time was still recovering from World War II. Roads were narrow. Many people were not rich. Fuel was expensive. Big cars were not practical. Suzuki understood this. Instead of building large cars, Suzuki focused on small, light, affordable vehicles. This decision shaped the company's future. In the 1950s, motorcycles became very popular in Japan. Many people needed cheap transportation. Public transport was still rebuilding. Cars were too expensive. Motorcycles were the perfect solution. Suzuki improved its motorcycle designs quickly. After the Power-Free, Suzuki released more powerful bikes. The engines became stronger. The frames became better. The bikes became more reliable. Suzuki competed with other Japanese motorcycle companies like Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki. Competition was strong. Every company wanted to be the best. This competition pushed Suzuki to innovate. Suzuki understood something very important. Racing improves technology. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, Suzuki entered international motorcycle racing competitions. Racing was not just about winning trophies. It was about testing engines at high speed. It was about proving durability and power. In 1962, Suzuki won its first world championship in the 50cc class at the Isle of Man TT race. This victory was very important. It showed the world that Suzuki was not just a small Japanese company. It was a serious motorcycle manufacturer. The company's reputation grew quickly after that. As demand increased, Suzuki had to grow. The company built new factories. Production lines became more modern. Workers were trained carefully. Suzuki focused on efficiency. They wanted to reduce waste and improve quality. In Japan, the economy was growing very fast during the 1960s. This period is often called the Japanese economic miracle. Factories produced more goods. Exports increased. Japanese products became famous for quality and affordability. Suzuki was part of this miracle. Suzuki knew that Japan alone was not enough. To grow bigger, the company needed to sell vehicles in other countries. In the 1960s, Suzuki began exporting motorcycles to the United States, Europe, Southeast Asia. The United States was especially important. American riders liked powerful motorcycles. Suzuki responded by building larger and faster bikes. The brand slowly became known for performance and reliability. Selling in foreign markets was not easy. Suzuki had to understand different laws, road conditions, and customer tastes. But step by step, the company expanded. In Japan, there was a special category of small cars called K-cars. K-cars were tiny vehicles with small engines. The government gave tax benefits to people who bought them. Suzuki became one of the leaders in K-cars. The company focused on fuel efficiency, low price, easy driving, compact size. These small cars were perfect for crowded Japanese cities. Suzuki's strength was clear, building small but smart vehicles. In the 1960s and 1970s, Suzuki released the Fronte, a small passenger car. The Fronte became popular among families who wanted an affordable car. It was simple, but dependable. Suzuki continued improving safety, comfort, and design. The company did not try to compete with luxury brands like Toyota Crown or Nissan Cedric. Instead, Suzuki focused on everyday drivers. In 1973, the world faced a big problem: the oil crisis. Oil prices increased sharply, fuel became expensive. Many large cars in America and Europe used a lot of gasoline. People started looking for smaller, fuel-efficient vehicles. This situation helped Japanese companies, including Suzuki. Suzuki's small cars used less fuel. They were economical and practical. Demand for small Japanese cars increased worldwide. Suzuki gained more international attention during this time. This clear focus helped Suzuki build a strong identity. In 1973, the world faced a big problem: the oil crisis. Oil prices increased sharply. Fuel became expensive. Many large cars in America and Europe used a lot of gasoline. People started looking for smaller, fuel-efficient vehicles. This situation helped Japanese companies, including Suzuki. Suzuki's small cars used less fuel. They were economical and practical. Demand for small Japanese cars increased worldwide. Suzuki gained more international attention during this time. In 1979, Suzuki introduced a very important model, the Suzuki Alto. The Alto was a K car. It was small, light, and very affordable. But what made it special was its price. It was one of the cheapest cars in Japan at the time. Many people who could not afford a car before were now able to buy one. The Alto became a huge success. Over the years, millions of Altos were sold. The Alto became one of Suzuki's most famous models and remains important even today. The 1980s were a time of strong growth for Suzuki. Japan's economy was booming. Technology improved rapidly. Consumers wanted better features and more comfort. Suzuki improved engine technology. The company worked on better suspension systems and smoother transmissions. At the same time, Suzuki continued to grow internationally. The company built partnerships in different countries. One of the most important partnerships was with General Motors, GM, in the United States. This partnership allowed Suzuki to enter the American car market more strongly. In 1981, General Motors bought a small share of Suzuki. This partnership was important for both companies. GM wanted access to Suzuki's small car technology. Suzuki wanted access to GM's global network and manufacturing experience. Through this partnership, Suzuki vehicles were sold in North America under different names. For example, some Suzuki models were sold as Chevrolet or Geo vehicles. This helped Suzuki grow faster without spending too much money on building new factories. In the 1980s, Suzuki introduced a small off-road vehicle called the Suzuki Samurai. In Japan, it was known as the Jimny. The Samurai was small, but tough. It had four-wheel drive and could handle rough terrain. In the United States, the Samurai became popular for its low price and off-road ability. Many young drivers liked its adventurous style. However, the Samurai later faced criticism about safety in the American market. Sales decreased after negative reports. Even so, the Jimny continued to be successful in many countries. Today, the Jimny remains one of Suzuki's most iconic models. As the company grew, leadership passed to new generations. After Michio Suzuki retired, other members of the Suzuki family led the company. One of the most important leaders was Osamu Suzuki. He became president in 1978. Osamu Suzuki was a strong and strategic leader. He believed in expanding into developing countries. This decision changed Suzuki's future. One of the most important decisions in Suzuki's history was entering the Indian market. In the early 1980s, India wanted to modernize its automobile industry. Suzuki partnered with the Indian government to form Maruti Udyog Limited. This company later became known as Maruti Suzuki. The first car launched was the Maruti 800, based on the Suzuki Alto. The car was affordable and fuel-efficient. It became extremely popular in India. For millions of Indian families, the Maruti 800 was their first car. Suzuki became the largest car manufacturer in India. Even today, Maruti Suzuki dominates the Indian market. This move made Suzuki truly global. During the 1990s and early 2000s, Suzuki focused on improving engine efficiency, safety systems, emission control design. Quality environmental regulations became stricter worldwide. Suzuki developed cleaner engines and better fuel economy. The company also improved interior comfort and modern styling. Suzuki vehicles became more refined. In 1999, Suzuki released one of the most famous motorcycles in history, the Suzuki Hayabusa. The Hayabusa was designed to be extremely fast. It had a powerful engine and an aerodynamic design. At the time of its release, it was considered the fastest production motorcycle in the world. The Hayabusa became legendary. It showed that Suzuki was not only about small vehicles, it could also build high-performance machines. The Hayabusa strengthened Suzuki's global motorcycle reputation. Even though Suzuki had many successes, challenges also appeared. Competition became stronger. Other car companies improved their small cars. Environmental rules became stricter. Global markets became more complex. The partnership with General Motors ended in 2008 after GM faced financial problems. Suzuki had to stand more independently, but the company had strong foundations, especially in India and Southeast Asia. Unlike some Japanese competitors, Suzuki focused strongly on emerging markets. These included India, Indonesia, Thailand, Pakistan, Africa. In these countries, small and affordable cars were in high demand. Suzuki's strategy worked well. Instead of competing directly in luxury markets, Suzuki strengthened its position where it was strongest. Even as technology changed, Suzuki stayed true to its original philosophy. Small cars, practical design, affordable price reliability. The company did not try to become the biggest car manufacturer in the world. Instead, it focused on being strong in specific markets. This focused strategy helped Suzuki survive global economic crises. From a loom company in a small Japanese town, Suzuki grew into an international motor company. The key points of Suzuki's growth were entering motorcycle racing, focusing on small, efficient vehicles, expanding into global markets, partnering with large companies, making a historic move into India, building iconic models like the Alto, Jimny, Samurai, and Hayabusa. Suzuki's growth was not about luxury. It was about understanding ordinary people. It was about building vehicles that were simple, affordable, and reliable. This strategy turned Suzuki into one of the most important motor companies in the world. At the beginning of the 20th century, Japan was changing very fast. The country had opened its doors to the world. Western machines, factories, and new ideas were entering Japan. Trains were running. Ships were traveling overseas. New industries were growing. But life for ordinary people was still very hard. Most families were poor. Many worked in small farms or workshops. Children often helped their parents. Education was important, but not everyone could study for many years. It was in this world that a boy named Soichiro Honda was born. He would grow up to create one of the largest motor companies in the world, but his beginning was very simple. Soichiro Honda was born on November 17, 1906, in a small village called Komio, near Hamamatsu, Japan. His father, Gihei Honda, was a blacksmith. He repaired bicycles and farming tools. His mother, Mika Honda, was a weaver. She worked very hard to support the family. Honda grew up surrounded by tools, metal, smoke, and the sound of hammering. From a very young age, he loved machines. He loved watching his father fix bicycles. He loved the smell of oil. He loved the sound of metal hitting metal. Unlike many children, he was not very interested in school books. He was more interested in how things worked. When Honda was still a young boy, something amazing happened. A car came to his village. At that time, cars were extremely rare in rural Japan. Most people had never seen one before. Honda ran behind the car as it passed. He was fascinated by the noise, the smell of gasoline, and the movement of the engine. Later, he even smelled the ground where oil had leaked from the car. He was deeply impressed. From that day, he wanted to work with machines. He did not dream of becoming a teacher or a farmer. He dreamed of engines. In school, Honda was not considered a good student. He did not get high grades. He was not interested in traditional subjects, but he was creative. He liked to build small inventions. He liked to experiment. One famous story says that he once tried to create a fake school stamp so he could impress his teacher. The stamp did not work well, but it showed his creative mind. Honda was not afraid to try things, even if he failed. This attitude would shape his future. At age 15, Honda made a big decision. He left school and moved to Tokyo. Tokyo was the capital of Japan. It was much bigger than his village. It was full of factories, workshops, and new technology. Honda wanted to become an apprentice in an automobile repair shop. He found a job at a company called Art Shokai. This small workshop repaired cars and built racing cars. For a young boy who loved engines, this was the perfect place. At first, Honda did not work directly on cars. He cleaned floors. He babysat the owner's child. He ran errands. But he watched everything carefully. He studied how engines were repaired. He learned how to take apart parts and put them back together. He was patient. After some time, the owner noticed Honda's passion. Honda was finally allowed to work on real engines. He learned quickly. He had natural mechanical talent. Art Shokai also built racing cars. Racing was dangerous but exciting. It required skill and bravery. Honda helped build racing cars. He even participated in races as a mechanic. In 1924, a racing car built by Art Shokai won a major race in Japan. Honda was very proud. He loved speed. He loved competition. He believed racing was the best way to test machines. This belief would later become very important for Honda Motor Company. After several years in Tokyo, Honda returned to Hamamatsu in 1928. He opened a branch of Art Shokai there. Now he was in charge. He repaired cars and motorcycles. He built racing machines. He became known as a skilled mechanic, but Honda wanted more than repair work. He wanted to invent something new. In the 1930s, Honda became interested in piston rings. Piston rings are small metal parts inside engines. They help seal the combustion chamber and control oil. Honda believed he could build better piston rings than those currently available, so he started experimenting. He had no formal engineering education, but he studied books. He tested materials. He made many prototypes. At first, his piston rings were not good. When he tried to sell them to Toyota, they were rejected. Toyota said the quality was too low. This was a big failure. Instead of giving up, Honda did something unusual. He went back to school. He attended technical classes to learn more about metallurgy and engineering. He realized that passion alone was not enough. He needed knowledge. After studying and improving his designs, Honda finally created piston rings that met Toyota's standards. In 1937, he founded Tokai Seiki, a company to manufacture piston rings. Soon after, Japan entered World War II. During the war, Tokai Seiki produced piston rings for military aircraft. The government controlled production, but the war caused many problems. Factories were bombed. Materials were limited. In 1945, near the end of the war, Honda's factory was heavily damaged by bombing. Later, an earthquake destroyed what remained. Honda had lost almost everything. After the war, Japan was in ruins. There was little food. Transportation was broken. Gasoline was rare. Honda did not give up. He sold the remains of his factory to Toyota. With that money, he started a small workshop in 1946. This new company was called the Honda Technical Research Institute. At first, it was very small. Only about a dozen employees worked there. Honda's idea was simple. He bought small surplus engines that were once used for military radios. He attached them to bicycles. This created a simple motorized bicycle. People needed transportation. These motorized bicycles became popular. In 1948, Honda officially founded Honda Motor Company Limited. He partnered with a man named Takeo Fujisawa. This partnership was very important. Honda was an engineer and inventor. Fujisawa was a businessman and financial expert. Together, they balanced each other. Honda focused on technology. Fujisawa focused on sales and management. This teamwork helped Honda grow quickly. In 1949, Honda released its first real motorcycle, the Dream Type D. It had a proper frame and a stronger engine. It was not just a bicycle with an engine attached, it was a real motorcycle. The Dream was successful. Honda continued improving designs. The company focused on reliability, lightweight design, easy operation. Honda motorcycles were simple and practical. In 1958, Honda released one of the most important vehicles in history, the Honda Super Cub. The Super Cub was small, affordable, and easy to ride. It had a step-through frame, which made it easier for women and older riders. It had a reliable 4-stroke engine. It was clean and quiet compared to many 2-stroke engines. The Super Cub became extremely popular. It was exported worldwide. Over time, it became the best-selling motor vehicle in history. Even today, millions of Super Cubs are on the road. In 1959, Honda entered the American market. This was a bold move. At that time, American motorcycles were large and powerful. They were often associated with tough, rebellious riders. Honda offered something different: small, friendly, easy-to-ride motorcycles. Honda used a famous advertising slogan, "You meet the nicest people on a Honda." This changed the image of motorcycles in America. Motorcycles became more acceptable to students, families, and everyday workers. Sales grew rapidly. Soichiro Honda believed strongly in racing. He believed racing improved technology. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, Honda entered international motorcycle racing competitions. At first, they lost. But Honda did not give up. They studied their failures. They improved their engines. In 1961, Honda won its first Grand Prix World Championship. This was a proud moment. It showed that Honda could compete with European manufacturers. Honda did not want to remain only a motorcycle company. Soichiro Honda had always dreamed of building cars. In the early 1960s, Honda began developing small cars. In 1963, Honda released its first small sports car, the Honda S500. It also introduced small trucks. Honda's cars were small but advanced. They used innovative engine technology. In 1972, Honda introduced the Honda Civic. The Civic was small, efficient, and affordable. During the 1970s oil crisis, fuel prices increased sharply. Large American cars used too much gasoline. The Honda Civic became very popular in the United States. It had excellent fuel efficiency. It also met strict American emission standards without using a catalytic converter at first. This was because of Honda's advanced CVCC engine technology. The Civic made Honda a serious global car company. Soichiro Honda was not a quiet businessman. He was energetic, sometimes stubborn, and very passionate. He encouraged creativity. He did not like strict hierarchies. He believed engineers should speak freely and share ideas. He also accepted failure as part of innovation. He once said that success is 99% failure. He meant that people must try many times before succeeding. Soichiro Honda retired in 1973. By then, Honda Motor Company was a global company. It produced motorcycles, cars, and power equipment. Honda passed away in 1991, but his spirit remained inside the company. His beliefs about innovation, racing, and engineering excellence continued. By the early 1960s, Honda was no longer a small Japanese company. It had already become the largest motorcycle manufacturer in Japan. The Super Cub was selling in huge numbers. The company had strong leadership. It had bold engineers. It had a clear dream. That dream was simple. Honda wanted to become the best engine company in the world. Not just in Japan, not just in Asia, but everywhere. Soichiro Honda believed that if his machines were truly good, they would succeed in any country. But entering foreign markets was not easy. Different countries had different rules, road conditions, and customer tastes. Still, Honda was ready to try. In 1959, Honda opened its first American branch in Los Angeles, California. This was a very risky decision. At that time, the American motorcycle market was dominated by large and powerful bikes. Brands like Harley-Davidson were popular. Motorcycles were often connected with tough biker groups. Many people saw motorcycles as dangerous or rebellious. Honda brought something very different. Small, lightweight motorcycles, friendly design, easy to ride, affordable price. At first, sales were slow. American dealers did not fully understand the small bikes. Some bikes even had mechanical problems because American highways required longer high-speed riding. Honda learned quickly. They improved engine durability. They studied customer behavior. Then they launched a powerful advertising campaign. The slogan was, "You meet the nicest people on a Honda." This changed everything. Instead of showing tough bikers, the ads showed students, families, and office workers riding Hondas. Motorcycles became friendly and normal. Sales exploded. Within a few years, Honda became the largest motorcycle seller in the United States. The Super Cub was simple. It had a small four-stroke engine. It was quiet. It did not require complex maintenance. Even beginners could ride it easily. Because of this, the Super Cub became popular not only in America, but also in Europe, Southeast Asia, Africa, South America. In many developing countries, the Super Cub became the vehicle of daily life. People used it to go to work, to carry goods, to deliver food, to visit family. The Super Cub was more than a motorcycle. It became part of daily culture. Over time, it became the best-selling motor vehicle in history, with over 100 million units sold. This was a huge achievement. Soichiro Honda believed strongly in racing. He believed racing made engines better. In the 1960s, Honda entered international motorcycle Grand Prix racing. At first, European manufacturers like MV Agusta were strong competitors. Honda lost many races in the beginning, but Honda engineers studied carefully. They improved engine speed, they reduced weight, they increased reliability. By 1961, Honda began winning world championships. Winning races gave Honda global respect. Racing success proved that Honda was not only good at building small commuter bikes, it could also build high-performance machines. This helped sales grow worldwide. While Honda was growing in motorcycles, it was also working on cars. In 1963, Honda introduced small sports cars and trucks, but the real breakthrough came in 1972 with the launch of the Honda Civic. The Civic was small, efficient, and affordable. At that time, American cars were large and used a lot of gasoline. Then something important happened. In 1973, the oil crisis shocked the world. Oil prices increased sharply. Fuel became expensive. Long lines formed at gas stations in America. Suddenly, large cars were no longer practical. Consumers started looking for smaller, fuel-efficient vehicles. Honda was ready. The Civic offered excellent fuel economy. It also used Honda's special CVCC engine, which met American emission standards without expensive technology. This was very impressive. The Civic became extremely popular in the United States. Honda was no longer just a motorcycle company. It had become a serious car manufacturer. As sales grew, Honda made another bold decision. Instead of only exporting cars from Japan, Honda decided to build factories in foreign countries. This was very important. Building cars locally helped reduce costs and avoid import taxes. In 1982, Honda opened its first car manufacturing plant in the United States, in Ohio. This was historic. Honda became the first Japanese car company to build cars in America. Many people were surprised, but the factory succeeded. American workers built Honda Accords with high quality. This move improved Honda's image in the United States. It showed Honda was committed to local communities. The Honda Accord, first introduced in 1976, became one of Honda's most important models. It was slightly larger than the Civic. It offered comfort, reliability, good fuel economy, affordable price. The Accord became extremely popular in America. In the 1980s and 1990s, it was often one of the best-selling cars in the United States. Customers trusted Honda for quality. The Accord built Honda's reputation as a dependable family car brand. Honda became known for engineering innovation. Honda engineers focused on high-revving engines, lightweight design, precision manufacturing. Honda engines were famous for smooth performance. In the 1980s, Honda introduced advanced technologies like VTEC, variable valve timing, and lift electronic control, improved fuel injection systems, better safety features. VTEC allowed engines to perform efficiently at low speeds and powerfully at high speeds. This technology became one of Honda's trademarks. Young drivers loved Honda's sporty performance. Honda's passion for racing did not stop at motorcycles. In 1964, Honda entered Formula One, the highest level of car racing. This was very ambitious. Competing in Formula One required advanced technology and huge investment. Honda built both the engine and the car chassis. In 1965, Honda won its first Formula One race. This was a major achievement. Later, in the 1980s, Honda returned to Formula One as an engine supplier. Honda engines powered teams like Williams-McLaren. With drivers like Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost, Honda won multiple world championships. These victories made Honda famous worldwide. Racing success strengthened Honda's image as a high-performance brand. In 1986, Honda launched a luxury brand called Acura in North America. This was the first Japanese luxury car brand in the United States. Acura offered premium cars with advanced technology and comfort. Models like the Acura Legend and Integra became popular. This move showed Honda's confidence. It was no longer only a small car maker. It could compete in the luxury market. Honda continued expanding worldwide. In Southeast Asia, motorcycles became extremely popular. Honda built factories in Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines. In Europe, Honda introduced compact cars and motorcycles. Each market had different needs. Honda adapted carefully. For example, in Asia, small motorcycles were important. In Europe, compact cars were popular. In America, family sedans and SUVs became strong sellers. Honda showed flexibility and smart planning. In the 1990s and 2000s, consumer tastes began changing. Many customers wanted SUVs instead of small cars. Honda responded by introducing models like Honda CR-V, Honda Pilot. The CR-V became very popular worldwide. It offered higher seating position, more space, reliability. Honda successfully adapted to market changes. As the world became more concerned about pollution and climate change, Honda focused on cleaner technology. Honda developed hybrid vehicles, fuel-efficient engines, low-emission technology. In 1999, Honda introduced the Insight, one of the first hybrid cars available in the United States. Honda showed that it cared about environmental responsibility. The company continued improving fuel efficiency and reducing emissions. Honda's global rise was not only about products, it was also about company culture. Honda encouraged open discussion, teamwork, creativity, respect for engineers. Employees were encouraged to share ideas. Innovation was part of daily work. Soichiro Honda believed that young engineers should not fear failure. This culture helped Honda stay innovative for decades. Honda's journey was not always smooth. The company faced strong competition from Toyota and Nissan, economic recessions, currency changes, natural disasters. But Honda remained stable. Its strong brand reputation helped during difficult times. Customers trusted Honda products. By the early 2000s, Honda had become one of the largest motor companies in the world. It produced motorcycles, cars, power equipment, marine engines, generators. Honda operated factories in many countries. It employed hundreds of thousands of workers worldwide. From a small workshop after World War II, Honda had grown into a global giant. Even after Soichiro Honda passed away in 1991, his spirit remained inside the company. Honda continued to invest in research, support racing, improve technology, expand globally. The company never forgot its roots. It always believed in engineering excellence. Suzuki and Honda are both Japanese motor companies. Both started in small towns. Both were created by strong and determined men. But the founders were very different. Michio Suzuki was calm and careful. He started with weaving machines. He slowly moved into vehicles. He believed in steady growth and practical products. Soichiro Honda was bold and emotional. He loved racing and speed. He believed in big dreams and strong competition. He enjoyed taking risks. Because of these differences, Suzuki and Honda grew in different ways. Suzuki started as a loom company in 1909. For many years it made weaving machines. Only later did it begin making motorcycles and cars. Honda started directly with engines and machines. Soichiro Honda always wanted to build vehicles. So from the beginning, Suzuki moved from textiles to motors. Honda was always focused on engines. This difference shaped their company culture. Honda became known for bold engineering. Honda engineers were encouraged to speak freely. The company loved racing. It loved new technology. It often tried advanced ideas before others. Suzuki was more practical. Suzuki focused on small vehicles, affordable prices, strong presence in specific markets. Suzuki did not try to become the biggest company in every market. Honda aimed higher in global competition. Suzuki aimed to dominate small and emerging markets. Both strategies worked in different ways. Today, Rolls-Royce offers extreme personalization. Customers can request unique paint colors, custom embroidery of family symbols, gold details, starry headliners with hundreds of tiny lights, rare materials. Some cars cost several $1 million due to customization. Rolls-Royce even builds very limited special models, sometimes only 10 or 20 units worldwide. These rare cars increase exclusivity. Under BMW, Rolls-Royce has become financially stable, technologically advanced, globally respected. Yet it still follows Henry Royce's philosophy. Strive for perfection in everything you do. The company builds far fewer cars than normal manufacturers. This keeps the brand exclusive. Rolls-Royce does not compete on speed or racing. It competes on comfort, silence, luxury, craftsmanship. Even today, Rolls-Royce faces challenges, environmental regulations, changing customer tastes, global economic uncertainty. But the move to electric vehicles shows the company is preparing for the future. The Spectre is only the beginning. More electric models will follow. Today, Rolls-Royce stands as one of the most luxurious car brands in the world, a symbol of wealth and success, a company combining tradition and modern engineering. From a small workshop in 1904 to a modern global luxury brand, Rolls-Royce has traveled a long journey. It survived 2 world wars, economic depression, bankruptcy, ownership battles, industry changes, and yet, it remains powerful. In India, Suzuki became a household name. This showed Suzuki's smart strategy, focused deeply on key markets instead of spreading too thin. Honda often introduced new technology earlier, for example, VTEC engine system, CVCC emission system, early hybrid models. Honda invested heavily in research and development. Suzuki focused more on simplicity, cost control, fuel efficiency, lightweight vehicles. Suzuki's cars were often simpler but cheaper to maintain. Honda's cars were often seen as slightly more refined and technologically advanced. Honda often took bigger risks. It entered Formula One. It created a luxury brand, Acura. It built large factories overseas early. Suzuki was more cautious. It preferred partnerships when entering new markets. For example, partnership with General Motors, partnership in India, Later partnership with Toyota Suzuki believed cooperation could reduce risk. Honda believed strong internal engineering could win competition. Interestingly, Suzuki and Honda have not had major direct partnerships with each other. They have mostly competed separately. However, in the modern era, the auto industry faces big challenges. Electric vehicles, strict environmental laws, high development costs. Because of these challenges, many companies cooperate more today. Suzuki partnered with Toyota for hybrid and electric vehicle technology. Honda has partnered with companies like General Motors for electric vehicle development. In the future, cooperation between companies may increase because new technology is expensive. Suzuki's major strengths include strong presence in India and Asia, expertise in small, affordable cars, lightweight vehicle design, practical engineering, strong motorcycle heritage. Suzuki understands cost-sensitive customers very well. It builds cars for real-life needs, not luxury. Honda's major strengths include advanced engine technology, strong global brand reputation, success in North America, racing heritage, broad product range, motorcycles, cars, power equipment. Honda is known for engineering excellence. Its engines are often praised for performance and durability. Suzuki's challenges: smaller global presence compared to major competitors, limited luxury brand, slower development in electric vehicles in early years. Honda's challenges: strong competition from Toyota, expensive research and development, changing global demand for electric vehicles. Both companies must adapt quickly in the modern era. Honda's image: reliable, advanced, balanced, slightly sporty. Suzuki's image: affordable, practical, lightweight, fun in small segments. In motorcycles, Suzuki is often seen as aggressive and performance-focused. In cars, Honda is often seen as more refined and technologically advanced. Today, the car industry is changing. Electric vehicles, EVs, are becoming more important. Governments are pushing for lower emissions. Honda has invested in electric vehicle platforms and partnerships. Suzuki has focused on hybrid systems and partnerships with Toyota. Both companies must adjust their strategies for a future with. It depends on how we measure success. If we look at global size and revenue, Honda is larger. If we look at dominance in India, Suzuki is stronger. If we look at motorcycle production numbers, Honda leads globally. If we look at small car leadership in certain markets, Suzuki is very strong. Both companies are successful in their own ways. Even though Suzuki and Honda are different, they share some important values. Japanese attention to detail, focus on efficiency, strong engineering culture, commitment to reliability. Both companies survived World War II destruction, oil crises, global recessions, strong competition. Their survival shows resilience. As the 21st century began, the world started to change very quickly. Technology moved fast. The internet connected people everywhere. Smartphones became common. Environmental problems became serious. The car and motorcycle industry also changed. Customers wanted better fuel economy, lower emissions, more safety, more technology inside vehicles. Suzuki and Honda both entered this new century with strong histories. But history alone was not enough. They had to adapt again. One of the biggest challenges today is climate change. Governments around the world are making stricter rules about pollution and carbon emissions. Many countries plan to reduce or even stop sales of gasoline-only cars in the future. This means car companies must develop hybrid vehicles, electric vehicles, EVs, cleaner engines. For companies that built gasoline engines for decades, this is a big change. Honda was one of the early companies to work on hybrid vehicles. In 1999, Honda introduced the Insight, one of the first hybrid cars in America. Later, Honda added hybrid versions of the Civic and Accord. Honda focused on reducing fuel consumption, improving battery systems, making engines more efficient. However, Honda was slower than some competitors in fully electric vehicles. Toyota became very strong in hybrids. Tesla became strong in full electric cars. Honda had to increase its effort. In recent years, Honda has announced plans to move strongly into electric vehicles. Honda plans to increase electric car production, invest in battery technology, partner with other companies. Honda has worked with General Motors to develop electric platforms. The company has also announced that it wants most of its sales to be electric or fuel cell vehicles by 2040. This is a very big goal. Honda knows that the future will depend not only on engines, but also on software, batteries, and smart systems. Suzuki's situation is different. Suzuki is very strong in India and other developing countries. In these markets, electric vehicles are still expensive. Charging infrastructure is still limited. Because of this, Suzuki focused first on mild hybrid and small fuel-efficient cars. Suzuki partnered with Toyota to use hybrid technology. This partnership helped Suzuki reduce development costs. Suzuki understands that its customers often care about price first, so Suzuki moves carefully into electric vehicles. India remains extremely important for Suzuki. Through Maruti Suzuki, the company continues to lead the Indian car market. Millions of families trust Maruti Suzuki cars. But India is also changing. The government is encouraging electric vehicles. Cities are becoming more crowded. Fuel prices are rising. Suzuki must balance, keeping cars affordable, adding new technology, meeting environmental rules. The company is investing in local production and new models for the Indian market. Motorcycles are still very important for both companies. Honda remains the largest motorcycle manufacturer in the world. It sells millions of motorcycles every year, especially in Asia. Small motorcycles are essential for daily transportation in countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand. India Suzuki continues to focus on both small motorcycles and high-performance bikes. Models like the Hayabusa continue to represent Suzuki's performance image. However, even motorcycles are now facing change. Electric scooters and electric bikes are becoming popular in cities. Both Honda and Suzuki are developing electric two-wheelers. Modern vehicles are not just about engines. They now include touchscreen systems, navigation, smartphone connection, driver assistance systems. Safety technology has also improved. Cars now have automatic emergency braking lane, keeping assist adaptive cruise control. Honda has developed the Honda Sensing System, which includes advanced safety features. Suzuki has also introduced similar safety technologies in many markets. The global economy is not always stable. Car companies face problems such as economic recessions, rising material costs, semiconductor shortages, global supply chain problems. The COVID-19 pandemic caused factory shutdowns and reduced sales. Both Suzuki and Honda had to reduce production during difficult times, but both companies survived. Their long experience with crises helped them stay strong. Competition today is stronger than ever. Traditional competitors include Toyota, Nissan, Hyundai, Ford. But now there are also new electric companies like Tesla, BYD. These new companies focus mainly on electric vehicles and software. This creates pressure on older companies like Suzuki and Honda. They must modernize quickly while keeping their traditional strengths. Honda is not only a car and motorcycle company. It also produces power generators, marine engines, lawn equipment, aircraft, Honda Jet. The Honda Jet is a small business jet introduced in the 2010s. This shows Honda's engineering ambition. Honda wants to be known as a company that moves people, not only on roads, but also in the air. This wide vision gives Honda multiple income sources. Suzuki has a more focused strategy. It concentrates on small cars, affordable mobility, strong presence in selected markets. Suzuki does not try to compete in every segment. It avoids expensive luxury competition. This focus keeps costs lower and reduces risk. Suzuki's strength is knowing exactly who its customers are. In the modern world, partnerships are very important. Developing electric platforms and batteries cost billions of dollars. Suzuki partnered with Toyota for hybrid and electric development. Honda partnered with General Motors and other companies. These partnerships help reduce cost and share technology. In the future, cooperation between companies may increase even more. Electric vehicles are expected to grow strongly in the coming decades, but challenges remain. Battery cost, charging infrastructure, recycling, electricity supply. Honda plans to launch many electric models in the coming years. Suzuki is developing electric vehicles especially for India and Europe. Both companies must balance speed and cost. Moving too slowly can lose market share. Moving too quickly can create financial risk. Honda has also explored hydrogen fuel cell technology. Fuel cell vehicles use hydrogen instead of gasoline. They produce only water as emission. Honda introduced limited fuel cell models like the Clarity. However, hydrogen infrastructure is still limited. The future of hydrogen remains uncertain, but Honda continues research in this area. Modern vehicles are becoming digital machines. Software updates, sensors, and artificial intelligence are becoming important. Companies must now hire not only mechanical engineers, but also software engineers. Honda and Suzuki are investing in digital systems. Cars may become more connected to the internet. Self-driving technology is also under development worldwide. Although full self-driving is still far away, driver assistance systems are improving. Suzuki's strengths today: strong market share in India, expertise in small cars, efficient cost management, strong brand trust in Asia. Honda's strengths today: global brand recognition, advanced engine technology, strong motorcycle leadership, large research capability. Both companies still hold strong reputations for reliability. Reliability remains one of the most important factors for customers. Even today, the spirit of Michio Suzuki and Soichiro Honda can be seen. Suzuki still focuses on practical solutions. Honda still values engineering excellence and innovation. Both founders experienced failure, war, and destruction. Both rebuilt from nothing. That history gives strength. It reminds both companies that challenges can be overcome. The future of transportation may include electric cars, electric motorcycles, autonomous driving, shared mobility services, cleaner energy systems. Suzuki and Honda must continue adapting. They must invest wisely, listen to customers, follow environmental rules, stay competitive. The world is changing faster than ever, but both companies have survived more than 70 years in the motor industry. This shows resilience.